This is episode 171 of the Rise Up podcast. We're a morning radio show hosted by Steve and Tim on Family Life, a network of stations across New York and Pennsylvania. This podcast is a weekly conversation designed to help you think and laugh and keep your eyes on Jesus. If you haven't already, subscribe today so you don't miss a single episode. And find out more about our show at familylife.org.
As refreshing as that first sip of coffee in the morning. This is Rise Up with Steve and Tim on Family Life.
Two very different backgrounds on Vacation Bible School.
Oh.
I say two because, well, you're one and I'm two.
Okay, that makes two of us.
That makes two of us. But there, I think if you're listening right now, maybe you're one of those two. One who grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
And you attended a Vacation Bible School as a child. I did not, and I did not attend a Vacation Bible School. So there are some things about Vacation Bible School that, I mean, you just kind of know. I didn't know about them until I was an adult in my 30s. And so we just want to talk about Vacation Bible School today.
Did your kids go to VBS?
Yes, they did.
Steve?
Yeah. They did.
That's neat.
Yeah.
When was that, like, in your own faith journey? When was it that they went to Vacation Bible School? Were you a pretty new believer, or
No, I was a believer before I got married. So
Oh, okay.
I was, we were strong believers, and they grew up our kids grew up in the church and
Okay.
went to Vacation Bible schools and all that.
Because I think about how sometimes I see people at our church who bring their kids to Vacation Bible School, and they don't come to church, but they bring their kids to VBS.
Right.
Now, the hope is that maybe that family is going to like what they see. They'll enjoy what their kid got out of that week during the middle of the summer when school was out and they had somewhere to go and a good place that they could trust. And then the hope is like that the family is going to keep coming back to it. And that might happen sometimes, and it definitely doesn't always happen. But I do think that it's kind of interesting to see what happens with parents. Like when they have kids, a lot of times I think parents end up making better decisions for themselves because they're thinking about their kids. And I have seen this pretty recently, even in my own experience. Wasn't with VBS, but it was with a young couple saying, we went to church growing up, but we don't really do that anymore. We've got kids now. We want them to be in church. And now the parents like getting into it and understanding and like being more involved in the church. I love that. I think that's so cool how God can use that. He can use a Sunday school program. He can use Vacation Bible School program when parents say, this seems like it's probably a pretty good thing for my kid. And then it ends up being a really good thing for the whole family, bringing everybody a little bit closer to God.
I look at it, and again, it's different situations for different families. But in our situation, I look at it as sending my kids to our kids to Vacation Bible School is a planting seeds kind of thing when I look back on it, because they didn't make a decision for Christ and own it at that age, at the young age. It wasn't until they went to Christian camps when they were in their teens did they actually make that. It's like, oh, they made their own decision. But to me, it was like, for them, seeds were planted. Seeds were planted, yes, at home, but seeds were also planted at Vacation Bible School, which I believe, helped them along the way in the understanding, the full understanding. So that when they became teens and had that full understanding for themselves, making their own decision, not just because mom and dad believed in Jesus, that they made their own decision, but I truly believe that the Vacation Bible School planted those seeds. So they had that understanding, an understanding that I didn't have when I was their age. So they had that understanding at a young age. So yeah, planting seeds kind of reminds me, and when you're talking about the parents who maybe don't go to church, but their kids go to Vacation Bible School, it's like that famous, the dandelion topic we talk about, that some people like, the dandelions, those seeds, and the wind blows, and all of a sudden, their kids, they kind of blew the seed, and it's like, oh, now it's planting over here. Now it's planting over here. And maybe it's planting right into their own family, to their parents. Yeah.
Yes. You never know where that's going to go. I did go to Vacation Bible School, actually only one time when I was a kid. But what I've really enjoyed so much about it, probably the bigger impact it's had in my life, Steve, is serving in VBS. My wife and I have gotten to do that with our church. And it's like really rewarding because it is exhausting. From a certain perspective, it is exhausting, yes. But, because you're getting out of work and you're going to do this thing like kind of depending on the timing of it, it might be like right after work for you. And
Right.
you're saying, wow, so I'm working and then I'm going to this and, oh, we're doing it every day this week. But the thing is, too, everybody else is doing that. Everybody else who is volunteering at your church for that VBS program, they're doing it too. After their long, busy day at home with their own kids or after their long, busy day at work, giving together of your time and of your creativity and definitely of your patience to help lead these other kids who some you might not know and some you might know to get to know God better. And there's a cool thing that happens with the adults who serve in VBS because it's almost like you get that experience a little bit of like being like a camp counselor together. Though, yeah, you're not, it's not your summer job. You're adults, but you're doing this thing and you're saying, hey, we're serving together. And it can really be something that grows your own feeling of investment within your own church. And if you haven't had the opportunity to do it before, I do recommend it. Like, even if it might feel like a stretch, I consider it, pray about it at least, because it really could end up bringing you a lot closer to people in your church. And I say that because if you feel like, man, I just don't have the relationships, I don't have time for them, I don't have energy to give to anybody else, it could just be that when you're feeling like that and you choose to make an investment in somebody else, this crazy thing happens that you couldn't expect. You end up getting fed by it. You end up getting energy out of it. You put more in, and a lot of times you see that you do get a lot more out of it too.
Started this by saying there's two different viewpoints of Vacation Bible School, those who went, those who didn't, and I'm on the ones that as a youngster did not. And I'm going to bring up something now that, again, the people who have are going to go, oh, sure, that's part of my life. And the other people, if you're one of the ones who didn't, right now I'm going to say something, you're going to go, I don't even know what that is, because that's what I said when I first heard about, and people talked about them all the time. Oh, yeah, those flannel boards, flannel-graph, what?
Flannel-graphs.
Flannel-graphs.
Oh, yes.
I know exactly. See, when someone brought that up and they were talking in a conversation, all these memories, and I was the guy on the side thinking, what are they talking about?
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Explain the flannel-graphs.
If it needs to be spelled out, flannel-graphs, which apparently it does, and that's fair. They're like these little cutout Bible characters and scenery and landscapes. They're cut out of felt. And then the teacher has an easel with a felt board on the easel. And this magical thing happens, Steve.
Yeah.
When you take those little cutout flannel characters, is that they like stick almost like magnets to the flannel felt board. And so I will just say not all flannel graph presenters are trained equally.
Okay.
I mean, you've got some who they can just barely kind of make Moses walk along there in the desert. But then you've got others who they're part in the Red Sea. And man, that flannel graph is moving. Wow. Some of them I've even heard use black lights. Woo. Yeah, flannel graphs. They're pretty exciting.
Wonder when they came across, or why did they decide flannel? Couldn't they have gone like velour or perhaps silk? Or some other material. I don't know. This is where my mind goes. Why'd they pick flannel?
Denim graph. Brought to you by Steve.
Anyone else wish morning started just a little later? Yeah, we get that. It's Rise Up on Family Life.
So Trinity and I now, we're rewatching a lot of the superhero movies, some of our favorite ones. The hero movies we watched, like we saw them in theaters while we were dating, a lot of them. Nice. Some of them when we were married before kids, when it was easier to get to theaters. Rewatching a lot of them now, though, on streaming. And I'm thinking about these heroes from comic books and these movies, some of them making me think of superheroes in the Bible. Seriously, Old Testament, full of these. I call them Avengers-level prophets because Elijah and Elisha did these amazing things for the nation of Israel. God working through them, of course, to do these miracles. King David and his mighty men, I mean, come on. Flawed, yes, but like any good superhero, flawed, but heroic, superhero material for sure. Then you just see how all these biblical storylines, they interact and overlap like only God's word can. I'm thinking this is like the original crossover event. The Bible, this is the original superhero story.
We weren't sure how you liked your coffee, so we didn't make any. Hope that's okay. It's Rise Up with Steve and Tim on Family Life.
All right, we see it every year. Well, we see lots of things every year, but graduations.
Oh, yeah.
But we see this story every year where there's sets of twins graduating.
Yeah, it's fun.
Twins always get my attention because my wife's a twin, so, I mean, she went through it.
Right.
But one thing we didn't have in our high school class was 14 sets of twins graduating from the same class in California. Yep, 14 sets. And all I can think of is it's like, you try to be your own person.
Sure.
But as you go through, and now finally you're there on graduation day in high school.
Big day.
Everybody has the cap, everybody has the gown, and they look at each other and go, look at that. We're dressed alike again. We're wearing the same thing again.
May the blessings of the Lord be with you in all that you do today. This is Rise Up on Family Life.